Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be installing the AAD Performance idler and oil catch can on the Charger station wagon engine. But before I can do that, I need to pull the bracket off of the Challenger. So I already have this catch can on the Challenger and it works really good. I have an install video when I put this on the car, but the one thing I need to take off of this is the supercharger idler. So what this effectively does, and I need this on the Charger station wagon because I have a smaller pulley on the supercharger. On the Challenger, I still have the stock pulley on here. So what this does is it adds an idler to the supercharger system. And when you put a smaller pulley onto the supercharger, this factory tensioner becomes useless. So then you have all of these different alignment holes for the different size pulleys, and you just put it where you need to, and you just make sure that this is pretty much in the center. You can't really see it because the catch can's in the way, but I have a new AAD catch can for the Charger. I'm gonna keep this one on the Challenger, and then I'm also gonna put the same thing as I did in the other video, all of these bent hoses that I found from the parts store. I have that bracket off of the Challenger, and now I need to go over to the Junkyard and put it on the Charger engine. But I really do like these catch cans. They work very, very well. So as you can see, I have a little bit of blow by. The AAD idler for the supercharger, like I said, we have an issue where the tensioner is not being used at all, because there is a smaller pulley on it. That's why AAD makes this super nice idler. And then they have the catch can like the one that I have on the Challenger. Same exact one. Let's get that installed on here. I'm also using the Redeye intake. So we have this nice huge Redeye filter box or rubber filter connector. And then I need to just make all of these PVC lines or PCV lines go over here, which won't be that big of an issue. I'll just have to get a Hellcat Redeye one. Super excited that I now have the AAD oil catch can and the supercharger idler. This allows the tensioner to be properly tensioned without buying a bunch of different size belts, supercharger belts. So you could buy a smaller belt, but then you have to figure out what that smaller belt is. And most of the companies that produce smaller pulleys don't tell you the belt size. So this way you can just order the Redeye belt or whatever I'm pretty sure this is the Gates V-Series belt for the Redeyes. And then you just have multiple positions in whatever pulley that you have. You just make sure that your tensioner is able to tension the belt, which is very convenient. I'm still waiting on wiring pins so I can finish wiring up the engine harness and also the ABS pump. But besides that, we have the rubber part of the Redeye intake just on the engine. I also was thinking about deleting the PCV system since I'm going to have a tune on it anyway. And then that would allow me to run this other side to the oil catch can too. On my normal or my Challenger Hellcat, I have it set up so it just goes into the intake right here. But, and I don't really see a problem, I pulled the intake when I just cleaned the filter, and it was relatively, you know, there wasn't any oil or anything inside that housing. So I know the oil catch can is working, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm gonna pretty much delete the PCV system and just run this over to the catch can, which would be kind of cool. But at the end of the day, we'll have to see, because on the Durango Hellcats, they have this same little solenoid, which I guess I researched a little bit, is a purge valve, and they're on the newer Hellcats. I guess it's a emissions thing, and it just pretty much goes right here. It bolts to the strut tower, and then it goes to the back of the valve cover. So I'd have to get a valve cover where this would clip in to the back instead of, you know, clipping in right there. And then I'd have to move the wiring from right here, which isn't that big of a deal, to back here where it would be on a Charger, a Challenger Redeye, or the newer Charger and Challenger Hellcats. So I'll have to figure that out. You know, I'll probably be able to figure that out I can figure it out after the engine is in the car. Wrapping the wiring harness in the engine bay on the Charger in preparation to put the 6.2 engine in the car. But I am still waiting on connector pins so I can shorten the engine wiring harness correctly. So the reason you don't want to cut those wires and just shorten them is because there are CAN bus wires in that harness. Some stuff that goes to the shift interlock into the transmission, stuff that goes to the engine. And if you shorten those and then just, you know, cut them, solder them, there could be these gremlins that just you can never track down. And just crimping it, if you do it a certain way and do it the right way, you don't have to worry about those issues. So I'm waiting on those pins for the engine harness, as well as the harness that connects to that in the engine bay on the passenger side, and the ABS pump. So what I'm gonna do today is I should be able to loom the whole driver's side pretty much all the way up to the, you know, the passenger side where all this stuff is going to connect with the engine harness. So then I could get the Redeye intake in there and a bunch of other stuff. I also have the loom right here. So I was going to use this stuff. Like I said in the last video, I really did like how it looked, but it wasn't very good quality. So when I was heating it with the heat gun, it started to melt it and it just started to distort. So I didn't want to have this in the engine bay and then have it just start to deteriorate over time and just look awful. So I got some of this loom. I'll put links in the description for it. I got 1/4 and 1/2 inch, and this is kind of like a heat protection. And I also have friction tape. So what this does is it will protect the wiring from heat. And I think it's also, it has like a fireproof rating for a little bit of time. If the, you know, engine or something catches on fire, it will kind of protect it from that. But I can't wait to have that whole driver's side finally loomed up. I'm also going to install the Redeye/Demon intake. In my opinion, this is the best intake you can put on a Challenger or Charger. It's factory ram air. It uses the front, you know, the front grill scoop, and then it uses the hood ram air if you have it. So I do have a Redeye hood, and it uses the center scoop right here and rams it all into the air box, but it's not painted, so it's still in the box. I just need to paint it and put it on the car. Haven't really worried about it yet, but I love this intake. So I had this extra. Actually, I bought it for the car a long time ago before I even started the project, and I usually buy parts as they come available. So I just bought a whole nother set of radiators and fan and condenser because I needed another condenser, but I'll put that in as well as the overflow bottle. After I put, you know, the sheathing and wrap all this wiring right here, I should be able to get that all the way to about there. I also need to add the shift interlock CAN bus wire, which goes across. And I think that's the last wire that I need to add across. And then I'll do the sheathing on all this wiring, and we should be able to get all that permanently tied up finally. We have the Redeye intake in there. I really like that intake. And as you can see on this side, all the looming is done. So we have all the wiring harness, looks super clean and nice. Goes all the way to the back, all the master cylinder, windshield wipers, then goes across there. I still haven't done it back there because I need to do the stuff to the ECU. But up here, we have the fans connected, we have the wire for the supercharger pump, we have all of this stuff, headlights, everything loomed. These are, on the Durango, it actually has the wires coming to its own fuse box, or not really a fuse box, but a little fuse panel. So these just kind of like a Volkswagen, just go in there. I'll shorten them, and I'm gonna have to make a bracket to bolt the Durango Hellcat fuse box. So that'll just go probably right here in front of it, and it'll be really super clean. And I really think it'll be really nice because then I could branch off of that. It has a bunch of extra positions on it, so I could run power to something else if I need to, which I kind of have a idea of something I want to run power to, and it just make it really convenient. But besides that, we have both of the grounds for the fan and for the supercharger pump, and we have all the stuff up here nice and loomed, ambient air temp sensor, the horns, the hood. I mean, I just really like how this is coming out. I need to get some clips. This will clip in right there and right there, be really clean. Then down here, we have electric power steering, we have the windshield wiper pump, and then over here I have the side markers. So on the factory charger harness, this side marker is usually in this harness, which to me, it really didn't make sense to have it in the harness because it would come in with these and then it would come over back up here. So on the driver's side, it just goes out just like this. So that's how I ran it on the passenger side as well. It just made more sense to me. So there is quite a bit more wiring, but I should be able to wrap up the engine bay in the next video and get all, as long as the pins come, get all the stuff on the engine, and we'll be able to get the engine over here finally in the charger. I've been saying this for quite a few videos. When I first initially ripped everything out of the Durango to put in the charger, I was like, this thing is gonna go in this week, and then I didn't think about wiring. So we're close, guys. We're very, very close. Just I can't wait. I'm also going to be doing something next week with the car, which I need to find an enclosed trailer. So if you're in Colorado, what I plan on doing is taking the charger to hot import nights, but I need an enclosed trailer to take it up there. So I don't know if anybody's in Colorado has an enclosed trailer let me borrow, or if you want to see the car. As long as I can find an enclosed trailer, I will I'll make it. But the car, you know, most likely will be at hot import nights, just hanging out. I still need to wash it, get all the front suspension on it, and get it rolling. I'm gonna go pick up some wheels or some tires because I'm still using the Trackhawk wheels, but I'll figure it out. It's a lot of stuff to do. So I'm also gonna, in the next video, get the rear part of the harness out so I can finally permanently bolt the bumper onto the car. So that would be really nice because this is all the collision avoidance, tail lights, that rear sensor for the lift gate. So when you press the button, it auto opens. A bunch of stuff that I need right here that goes behind the bumper, and it'll just be really nice having that under there. And then I could finally permanently bolt the bumper on and not have it just kind of sitting on there. I could put the fender liners in, and it'll be really clean. So, and then I could also plug in the side markers, even though the battery and stuff isn't in it yet. But I'm gonna end the video here. Hopefully the next video we can get the rest of that wiring finished, as long as I get those pins, and then I can get the engine in the car. And I cannot wait. So much work, so much wiring work, but we're getting very close. That's all that's left of the Durango Hellcat wiring harness. That's it. That's all right there. That's not very much that has to go in the car. So I'm gonna end the video here. If you like these videos, make sure to click the subscribe button, thumbs up, throw a comment below. As always, see you guys next time.